still doing a little bit of work on the side. What's the update on him and the rest of the, I guess if there's any more injuries?
Yeah, he's day by day. We just did a bit of maintenance on his hamstring yesterday, and today he had to take a break. So we're just going to see how he responds over the next 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. Marcus Anderson's still out, and other than that, I think we're good to go.
How is Nate feeling, and how do you? I know you kept him out in case he wasn't 90 minutes.
Yeah, he's feeling great, and he's eligible for sure. Yeah.
Is he close to 90 minutes fit?
Yeah, I mean, missing 5 weeks of preseason, and being in for 4 training sessions doesn't really equate to being fit and ready, but he's getting closer for sure.
So when he gets to that point of 90 minutes fit, Bizo's getting to that point as well, how do you evaluate the right back?
Yeah, so we've had a scrimmage on Sunday last week where, everyone played 60 minutes who wasn't in the roster. We got limited minutes. So, I mean, that was an excellent test for the guys out here on the training grounds. So 60 minutes at that volume of how we're trying to play, and you have 2 teams doing it. It was quite a track meet. So, yeah, those guys are getting better every day.
Jovan Lukic gets here, goes right in the deep end. Looks like he's been here all along. That doesn't always happen with newcomers. How do you assess so far his fitting in?
Yeah, very well. I mean, when we first had a Zoom meeting with him, and I've had a couple of probably 100 meetings, setting up an expansion team, talking to prospective players, and this was probably my best Zoom meeting that I've had. Very open, growth mindset, team first mentality, commitment to, what we're trying to do as a club, and I think you can just see he's come in, bought in. The players have welcomed him with open arms, and he's a good character to be around. He has this infectious friendliness around him, but when he's on the field of play, he means business, and it's great to see him gelled in so good with the team so quickly. But there's a long road to go. There's still a lot of things to work on, and it's not by all means perfect with all the new guys. We're still trying to get them, some of the housing maybe. So we're trying to make them feel as comfortable as possible. Staff have done a great job, and these guys are doing a great job integrating.
What's an ideal 6 for you, philosophically, as a player?
Can I mention a name? Tyler Adams.
It's a pretty good one.
Well, I kind of want to hear more about that.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I wonder what do you see?
Both sides of the ball, right? So, I mean, just very aggressive on the jump, cat-like tendencies. Just being very proactive against the ball. Puts in a ton of groundwork, and then with the ball, breaking lines, brave to be on the ball, brave to get the ball. And I think you can see both with the way we're trying to play with our sixes. We're emphasizing a lot of that. I think Jovan had close to 100 touches in the game, which is, I wouldn't say it's exactly what we want, but I mean, we want to be brave to break lines, and we want to be brave, to connect and play vertical and brave and progress the ball.
Do you see in Jovan some of that? I think Tyler, when he's at his best, knows when to make that jump into the play, when to play that ball forward.
Yeah, I think it's a relationship, right? I think we have 2 sixes in Danley, and I always mention Chuchu Bueno. He's always in and around. He's training well. He's it's just unfortunate. That it didn't quite go his way for a starting lineup, but I mean, he's right there. He's knocking on the door every single day, and he's training well. So I think that elevates the rest of the group in that hold'em midfielder spot to new heights. Again, competition is great, and we've always said, the internal competition has to be greater than the external competition, and we see that on each position, and everyone's done a great job.
On a different note, the 8 goals you guys have scored this year, all of them have been one-touch finishes. Does that say anything to you of either the quality of the setups or the confidence that your strikers are playing with right now?
Yeah, I think it's a group. I think it's a group that, taken on information throughout preseason the last 5 weeks. And first there's the phase of all new overload of information, and that takes a few days to sit and sort of let the players mull on that, and all of a sudden they start building appetite for it, and then there's like a aha moment. This is working, and this is the way forward. And we've seen that progressively through every training session, through every scrimmage that we had, and then the final scrimmage against Montreal in Florida. I felt that was the aha moment for our boys, and and obviously the way we've kicked on in the 2 games have been fantastic, and the way we've scored our goals and the types of goals that we've scored, I would say they are like perfect philosophy goals.
Let's go back to the Tyler Adams point for a moment. Along with his feet, his brain, and his mouth are big parts of who he is as a player. He's the leader on the field. He's obviously the captain even when he's not wearing the armband for the national team. And in that spot on the field, that's especially effective. Jovan's still new. Danley's English is not the best. Andre is the veteran leader, but how much do you want the 6 calling the shots from that position?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's indicative of positional, the guy to be the loudest or show the biggest. I think every position has a job to be a role model of what we're trying to do in that position, right? So when we're trying to be on the jump with the press, the strikers are leading that line. We don't wait for a message from Glesnes at the back to say, hey guys, now's the time to start pressing. They just need to know to support the guy in front of them. So once we go with the strikers, then the 6s need to connect, then the center backs need to connect, and I think it's a whole synchronized movement that we're trying to work on. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's specific to one position that guy should be the leader or not. I think Kai Wagner's done an excellent job of being that leader. Jacob Glesnes has done a great job being that leader on the field of play. But I think you can see the synchronicity between our group right now. And the guys are having fun, and they've caught an appetite for the way we're playing at the moment, and it's fun to watch.
Obviously Ty's getting plenty of attention for scoring goals. What are you seeing from him that's like putting him in such good positions, and just how he's you see him late in his shift defending in the middle of the field, and what are you seeing from outside of the goals that are really he's earning these?
I see the whole group, and not just Ty specifically, but I see a whole group that's selfless. That they trying to reward the next guy up. And if I'm not in the best position to take the shot, I've been in many sort of situations where you wouldn't blame a striker for shooting, right? And then we're trying to find that maybe next best positioned player. Even Danny Gazdak sets up Ty for that one. But the harder these guys are working, the more that they're creating. And it's a bit of a change in the mindset, because it'd be like, we're defending, but we're creating more chances. So this is the way we go about it. So the better we defend, the more chances we're going to create and get. So that's just the way we go about it. To see that it's working so quickly into the season sets a standard really high. And we said it on Monday in training. We said, guys, we set the standard now, and we have to now uphold ourselves to these standards, and we live and die by this every single day. So, it's fun to see, and just relentlessness against the ball gets the guys into great spots. And I think the strikers, even Mika, for his work rate and what he's putting in, and the hold-up play, and keeping the play alive when we're progressing the ball. I think everyone's done really well. And then Bruno comes in and doesn't skip a beat. So I think competition again is good.
So the point of competition, you're eventually going to have the tough. You'd rather have a tough decision between 3 strikers for 2 spots, but you're eventually going to have to make that. How do you look into that? Ty's in great form. Mikel, like you just mentioned, is doing work, but and then Bruno comes in and scores the goal. How do you evaluate which 2 are going to end up being the guys? Listen,
there's no automatics, right? You can't say what's going to happen in 2 weeks, and every Monday we start fresh, and you never know. And sometimes these things have a way of figuring itself out, just by, randomness, I would say, of I don't know, maybe somebody gets stepped on, or maybe somebody falls ill, or what have you. But I mean, as long as the guys are fit and healthy and driving each other, to new heights, I think everyone would sign up for this position that they're in right now, to be scoring goals, working hard, creating, getting assists, being part of a group that's connected and having fun. There
was obviously you weren't here last year, and you weren't focused on this year, but from the players last year, there was always, no matter what the results were, there was always that belief. And that confidence that there was talent in the room to turn things around. Do you see that belief and confidence with some of the guys that have been here? Do you see like an increase in that? Have you seen an increase in that from preseason? It feels like, I guess, for lack of a better term, swagger that they had a few years ago. It feels like with some of those players, it's starting to come back.
Yeah, like you said, I think you answered your own question. I wasn't here last year, so I've never worked with these players, and I'm getting to know them as people and human beings as well. So, but a real role model for me has been Ale Bedoya. He's done really well in terms of taking on information, accepting where he is right now, and being that extended arm of like kind of the coaching staff and messaging, and he's really enjoying it as well, and he's training really well. So, yeah, again, I wasn't here last year, but it's exciting to see that this group does feel it. There is a sort of an atmosphere around the building here. There is sort of a belief in this building that we are very competitive, I would say, but that doesn't mean anything after 2 match days, right? So we can get all the accolades now, but after 2 match days it doesn't mean anything. So it's just now building a mentality and a drive and a desire to clean the slate every Monday, and we start again and we go again and we drive ourselves, and those points now are in the bank. Now we start from zero again and try and move forward.
All right, Bradley, so for this weekend you're playing New England. What are your initial impressions about facing New England?
Sorry, can you just repeat that?
Initial impressions about your opponent this weekend?
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's a squad that has, I think it was 18 new players, and obviously a very brutal and lethal strike force in Campagna and Carlos Gil. They have Langonia down their right-hand side as one of the quickest players in the league. So in terms of, transition and, mitigating spaces and the spaces to run into behind. So, we have to be wary of all of their weapons. They don't give much away either. The XG against is 4th best in the league, for example. They put a lot of pressure on the ball. I think it's going to be a very tight game. 2 very athletic teams going at each other. We respect the opponent very much, and I know exactly how difficult Caleb's teams are to play against.
And also, through 2 games, besides the 8 goals scored, what else has impressed you most, how the way the team has looked so far? Yeah,
I think we gave away too many shots in Orlando. I think we buttoned that up in game 2. We didn't give too many chances away, only 2 shots on goal against us. It's, I think, 7 in total. And just where we wanted to dominate the game, we did. And I saw again a hunger and a desire to play exactly that way. Some of the counter pressures that we got away from in the Orlando game, we got back again, in the last game, and we did really well. I think, we had the best counter-pressing team on match day 2, and we covered the most volume, intensity, high-speed running, volume. So, those are the standards that we set, and something that we pride ourselves with is, putting teams in a tough game.
Curious as to how you assess Leo Campana. You mentioned a few minutes ago he showed glimpses in Miami, and then they kept signing other guys, obviously, who kept him off the field.
Yeah.
But he's got some talent. Clearly, what do you
Sure, I see his talent also against the ball. He's relentless in chasing down and putting pressure on the opponent, and then when he comes to life in the box, he's very dangerous, right? So he links up well with Carlos. He's definitely on the radar, and somebody we have to mitigate time and space as well. So especially in the box, obviously due to his size and what he can bring with his left foot. So dangerous player as well.
Thanks, Bradley.
Thank you.